The US House has adjourned after Republican Kevin McCarthy failed for the sixth time to obtain the majority vote for House Speaker. Sky News Washington correspondent Annelise Nielsen explains what this means for the House of Representatives.
There's a group of around 20 within the Republicans, driven by 5 influential among the far right, and they're the ones who simply don't like Kevin McCarthy. There's a lot on the table, Matt Gaetz in particular wanting a prestigious role on a committee, a few different asks like that, concerns around funding for Ukraine, but at the heart of it, there is just this sense that Republicans simply don't like Kevin McCarthy and want someone else. But the big question is, who else should that be? Now, to put this into context, this is historic. The last time we had such a dragged out race for the Speaker of the House was in the 1920s. We're up to our 6th failed vote, and there's no deadlock in sight. They've now adjourned. That seemed despite the protests of the Democrats, but in another indicator of just how fraught this all is without a Speaker in the House, there was no real opposition to be counted for this adjournment. Now, this is quite a critical time. If they can't put someone forward, this could start to see further rebellions within the Republicans. The magic number has been 218. That's how many votes they've needed to confirm the Speaker. It has to be a simple majority of the House of 435 members. One of the issues here, though, is if any of those members registers their vote as simply present and not for the Democrat or Republican that's been put forward, or indeed any other option they'd like to support, what happens is the threshold for that majority then goes down. So we've already seen one Republican remove her vote as being present. Now we're going to see potentially Democrats doing that if they can be given a deal that they like from the Republicans, or Republicans doing that, then potentially giving the numbers to the Democrats. And so this is absolute nail-biting stuff in a political sense. One of the interesting things at play here, though, is the idea that this isn't necessarily falling along those divisions within the Republican Party that many assume. We do have the Trump supporters within the party. They're not necessarily being cleanly associated with the far right, though. One example of this is the fact that Kevin McCarthy is the pick of Donald Trump. And we have seen him have support across the party base, but not from those ultra far right who many assume would be falling in with whatever the former president said. Here's a good example. The representative from Colorado saying she doesn't agree with her former president.
Even having my favorite president call us and tell us we need to knock this off, I think it actually needs to be reversed. The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw.
It's hard to explain just how much chaos this is causing on Capitol Hill. When it comes to these committee appointments, committees drive a lot of what happens in government here in Washington, D.C. This is all being stalled and potentially thrown completely out the window from the expectations of all those staffers who would have thought they'd have a particular job. That now might not be the case if it's not Kevin McCarthy that goes ahead. But he remains defiant. He's using this time to rally supporters among Republicans, try and get some Democrats potentially on side. But the increasing reality is that he could be forced to step down even within the next few hours.
Republican veterans have expressed their concerns after the US House of Representatives failed to elect a House Speaker after a 6th ballot. United States Representative Mike Gallagher addressed the political halt it is causing.
Right now, Don Bacon and I were supposed to be meeting with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs in the SCIF here to talk about matters in the Indo-Pacific. But I'm informed by House Security that technically I don't have a clearance. I'm a member of the Intel Committee. I'm on the Armed Services Committee, and I can't meet in the SCIF to conduct essential business. My point is we have work to do that we can't do right now.